Well, good evening. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm here with my usual co host, Paul Simon Smith, who runs the Nutrient Nirvana Supplement Company. So, how's the new shop going, Paul?
Yeah, it's pretty good, mate. It's a nice atmosphere in there. I'm working with two lovely ladies. You couldn't meet two nicer ladies.
Sounds
Um,
good.
and it's all been decorated really nicely, and they're pretty busy as well. The first two or 3 months they've made a fair bit of money, so it's a good start.
Right, we better just tell the people that are watching that because of the new shop business, Paul's new business commitments, he's told me he won't be here every week. So you're going to be okay for doing alternate weeks, Paul?
Hopefully, yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, it should be okay.
Great. I've got a very lovely lady lined up to take his place next week.
You
So
didn't waste your time.
I don't waste any time, Paul. So come along next week and meet any day. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about this week? Is there anything you particularly want to talk about before I kick off with my main theme?
Well, you kick off with your main theme, mate. I was going to talk about my workshops, but we can do your stuff first if you like.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Um, I don't claim that this is original to me. I nicked the idea from Matteus De Stefano, which some of you may know. He's quite well known online. Um, but we've been doing revolutions one way or another for many thousands of years. We've had violent revolutions, we've had peaceful revolutions, and I'm going to suggest that we might try something different. We might try a joyous revolution. We've got Pauline Turner. Hello, Pauline.
Hello, Pauline.
Now, the thing about a joyous revolution is we don't actually even need to tell anybody. We certainly don't need to shoot anybody or try and persuade anybody. We can bring about the new world, the new Earth, a complete alternative system than the one we have now, simply by focusing on what we want and by raising our consciousness, raising our vibrations to a higher level. And according to the 100 monkey principle, everybody else will eventually follow. So, what do you think about that idea, Paul?
I think that's a brilliant idea, mate. I've been thinking, well, ever since I read your book, really, I've been thinking there's very little point in trying to fight the system, so to speak. It's not going to happen. I often think, when people they've got the right intentions, but when they try and petition the government, I just think you're wasting your time. You're going to the wrong people. You want to start co-creating the earth that we all want to see. That's what it's all about. So,
Catherine agrees with us. Hello, Catherine.
hello, Catherine.
Glad to have you on again. Yeah, I've got a very special guest on my Friday show next week. I've got a very special guest this week, but that's not what I'm talking about. Next week, who's going to lead us through a guided meditation on the new earth. That's what we wish to create, to help us to visualize what we want to create.
Lovely.
So come along and watch that one. I'll send out the notifications nearer the time. Hang on, we've got some people on here.
We've got Heidi Strickland. I know Heidi. How are you,
Heidi? Hi, Heidi. Evening all, send us all joy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, why can't we do that? Why can't we just live in love and cooperation? Don't try to fight the old system. Just focus on what we want to create.
Yeah.
We can't beat the old system, can we?
No. No.
I've always said that. I said that in the book. We can't beat the old system. It's too ingrained. And without wanting to get too deep into the rabbit hole, um, the World Economic Forum, as I said on here before, has already infiltrated many world governments, many national governments, um, and even has a power sharing deal, an official power sharing deal with the United Nations now. Um, so we can't beat them on. We can't beat them at their own game.
I think, sorry to interrupt, Jack, but I think it was Benjamin Disraeli, who was the prime minister in this country in the 19th century, who used to talk about a shadow government. So, I mean,
Well, yes, absolutely, and that's become a much bigger thing recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's been there for a very, very long time.
I definitely think it's been there for a very, very long time. He knew he was just a puppet, and he had to pull the do as he was told.
Mm.
And you have to wonder why paedophiles keep getting these high positions. It's probably so they can be blackmailed if they don't toe the line.
Yeah, they're compromised. That's exactly right.
And we've seen with the World Economic Forum's Young Leader Program how Macron and Trudeau and many, many others.
The New Zealand lady.
Yeah, I can't pronounce her name, but yeah.
Trevor.
All came through the Young Leaders Program, so that they are World Economic Forum implants.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Definitely, they're very well groomed.
What we got here? Can you read out, Paul?
Yeah, that's Catherine. That's an old one. She said, like that idea, joyous revolution, which is what we're all going to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Big smiles.
Yeah, I've got to get some new glasses because I do find it difficult to.
I've never seen you in glasses. Have you ever worn glasses before?
Oh, many years ago, Paul. Yeah. But I took them off because I didn't like them. They made my eyes ache.
Yeah. It took me a little while, to be honest with you, Jack. It took me a little while to get used to you doing this to the screen all the time.
Well, yeah, it's not very professional. That's why I get you to read the comments. Yeah. You don't want me leering. It's him leering. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to put that to everybody that we don't need to kill anybody. We don't even need to persuade anybody. We can just lead by example, and we can make the system, the top-down authoritarian system that has been in place one way or another for many thousands of years, long before Israeli time.
Can I ask you, Jack?
We can make it obsolete.
How important is building community in this joyous revolution? How important is that?
Very, absolutely, cornerstone. As you know, I keep talking about a free gift economy, how we can live together without money. And without barter, without caring whether somebody's doing more or less than somebody else, not even caring, just focus on how much can I give rather than how much can I get, and everything changes. And I want to see these kind of societies grow up, small communities grow up, and eventually come together to grow into each other. If we can start just a few people in every town. I mean, Michael Tillinger in South Africa has been trying this for a while now.
Yeah.
With his one small town idea, and I think he's got a couple now. It's taken him a while, but he's concentrated on getting the whole town together. Now, I'm not that ambitious. I just want to get a street of people, or a group of people that can meet once a week in a community centre, who want to do things this way, who can make things and grow things to give away.
Mm.
and provide other services. I mean, I provide web design services and video editing and various other things for people in the group, in our local group here in Stafford. And I don't expect to pay for the things that they produce or the things that they do. And I don't ask any money for what I do. But we all just ask for a contribution towards our expenses. For instance, if I put up a website, I have to pay for the domain name and the hosting, which probably only costs about 20 quid. And maybe less than that. It depends what the domain name they want. And I do ask them to give me that, but I don't ask anything for the work I put in doing it.
Mm.
Other people outside the group, I charge them. Yeah, absolutely. That's how I make my living. But I don't charge the people in the group.
Mm.
And not everybody in the group is happy with that. Some want to have a system like the old Let's system, if you remember the Let's system, where you have a local currency. And I was living down in Kent when I was in Let's, and we had a local currency called hops. And we all had these sort of Mickey Mouse checkbooks where we paid each other so many hops for an hour's work, whether it was an hour's gardening or an hour's massage or, yoga training or whatever it happened to be. And we passed these bloody checks around. And I think, why don't we just tear up the bloody checks? Crying out loud, these checks are driving me bonkers. Just tear up the effing checks. But that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And nobody was ready for that then. And even in my own local group here in Stafford, there's a lot of people now who still aren't quite ready for doing it free. They want to have some sort of system whereby they account for the hours that they contribute. Tellinger has Michael Tellinger, he has a halfway house solution to that. He doesn't ask any money, but he does ask everybody in the community to contribute a minimum of 4 hours work a week.
Yeah.
Because we still have to earn a living in the macro economy as well at the same time. We're living between two worlds, between two systems, between the new Earth that we're trying to create and the old Earth that's the old system that's based on money and meanness and nastiness.
Yeah.
So his compromise is to ask everybody to contribute at least 4 hours. Yeah. And most people are more than happy to contribute a heck of a lot more than that. And without getting upset about it. It's this attitude that he's done more than me. Sorry, I've done more than him. I should get more than him because I've done more than him. And it's that attitude. Until we can ditch that attitude, we're going to be stuck in the old system.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it would be a very, very big step for a lot of people at first. But I mean, I'm talking about the normies here.
Yeah, it's a big step for a lot of people, a lot of the alternative people as well. Especially the ones that are in business for themselves and they have to sell what they do to live. What they make or the service they provide, they have to do that for money to live, to pay their rent or their mortgage. And I do understand that, but I'm not asking anybody to give all their work for free, just within the community. And I've put this idea forward, and I talk about it a lot, that we can base these communities around community gardens. So our first need, which is food and housing, but most people's housing needs are more or less sorted. First job is to feed everybody. And then the people that can't garden, that don't know anything about gardening, that don't want to know anything about gardening, contribute what it is that they do. And the example that I give is if you've been feeding the plumber and his wife all year, then you'd be jolly glad you have when your pipes burst. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. It's something I need to. Just talking of which, I've just seen Pauline. I think this is the Pauline that's a member of my community group.
Hello,
She
Pauline.
made a comment. She has said, "I had an idea a while ago through the larger community social platform for people to donate even just half an hour's work a week to help someone else, and majority attitude was disappointing."
Yeah, it's early days. Yeah, a lot of people aren't ready for this yet.
Yeah, I think so. But if we've set up like my group, the Community United, my local group, the next time we meet up, I think we need to start talking about how we can start doing these things that Jackie's talking about within our own group, and hopefully it'll grow from there.
Yeah, hopefully. And then if we have these little isolated groups all over the country, all over the world, and as they gather momentum, get more. I would have lost without my hands, wouldn't I? Gather momentum, get more members. They can grow together. Yeah, they can grow together like that. Yeah. This is my hope, and that eventually. And I used to say, I said in the book, I mean, I wrote the book, 4 or 5 years ago now, probably 5, nearly 6 years ago. That we've got 35 years. I worked out we've got 35 years to do this. And then the last couple of years, nonsense came along. And I realized that, no, we don't. We got to get this done pretty damn quick.
Well, there's been a lot of talk recently about a split in civilization. And I've often had this thought myself that eventually, and especially considering so many people have woke up since the pandemic, that there would be a split in civilization where one group of people would go one way, and the normies would go in the direction, I guess, of the Great Reset and nanotech and all that nonsense and vaccines and all the rest of it. And that, at the end of the day, I was saying to Pauline, I saw Pauline today and Debbie in the shop, and I said to them, I think it's inevitable now. And the people, I mean, if people didn't wake up during COVID, then I don't think they're ever going to wake up. I think this was the last wave of people waking up. I think if COVID doesn't wake you up and all that, then nothing ever will.
Can I just say, Paul, I've already had one of these videos taken down. Can we just watch the words we use?
What? Which one?
The C word.
The C word.
The C word and the B word.
Sorry, I normally say the lurgy. I forgot the lurgy.
Yeah, because I've already got one strike against me, and I can't afford too many more. This is the other problem we have, trying to set up a new system within the old system, is this toxic culture of censorship everywhere. It's very, very difficult to get an alternative viewpoint out there when we live in this toxic culture of censorship.
Have you seen the Phantom Planter on Facebook?
Yes, I have.
Yes, he's good, isn't he? So that in itself is a small thing, but it's very much, I think, connected to what you're talking about in terms of just doing what you think is best, not what the government thinks is best, doing what you think is best for the world, and planting trees and planting food everywhere for people.
Just a small act of rebellion.
Yes, yeah, exactly, but it goes a long way.
I mean, I've been doing that for years.
What, planting trees randomly everywhere?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Kept that one quiet.
I keep it very quiet, yeah. I've been doing that for years. When I lived on my canal boat, I used to do an awful lot of it because I was in a different place every couple of weeks. So I nip out and stick some trees. If I couldn't actually stick trees in, I'd at least sow some acorns or something, you know.
Nice, yeah.
And I've been doing that for years. And I really want to see more fruit trees in towns and villages, just in the street. Come and help
Yeah.
yourself to the fruit.
Definitely.
Why can't we just do that? You know, they do it in other countries.
Mm.
I've put many posts up on social media about groups that are doing that. And there's also a group in Australia that I plug quite a lot that have these stands. Stands is probably the wrong word. It's like a bookcase, like a big bookcase, and they put it in a prominent place, and they put food in it, and people just come and help themselves.
Whereas Tesco's and Sainsbury's, they actually cage up, or they make their slightly out of date food unavailable to anyone. You know.
Well, having said that, I don't want to contradict you, Paul, but having said that, in all fairness to them, when I was in Oxford about 10 years ago, I used to volunteer for the Oxford Food Bank, and we used to get a lot of our food from the big supermarkets that was past their best before date, but not past their sell by date. And yeah, Sainsbury's used to get a lot from Sainsbury's. We used to get a lot from Tesco's. Maybe they've changed their policy since. I don't know.
Oh, I seem to remember seeing a story in the newspaper fairly recently about it, and I think they put spikes on something so that the homeless people couldn't access the waste, the food. So
why do they do that? Why do people do that? Why do people put these spikes in the ground so homeless people can't sleep at night?
Yeah.
Why have they made the bus shelter seat so narrow that you can't lie on them anymore?
Yeah.
It's just meanness. It's this whole culture of meanness. And I know I go on about it a lot, but it's my belief that it's the whole culture of money that makes us mean, because it makes us want to account for everything and not want to, oh no, he can't have that for free. I can't have it for free. Why should he have it for free? Why should he be able to get away with it if I can't get away? I mean, for crying out loud, grow up. If you think like that, grow up. I'm sorry, but
it's funny. There's many people on our side of the fence, I suppose. That we've had a couple of comments, by the way, that think that money's a good thing. It's a necessary thing. It's good for barter, blah blah blah, and all the rest of it. People that I actually respect a lot as well, but I don't agree with them on that, obviously. Cliff Ivy.
What's the comment here?
Yeah, Michael Lee says, has anyone been watching the 8-part series Propaganda Exposed?
Yes, I have, and I've been posting links to it all over my Telegram channel.
Is it a Netflix thing, or what channel is it on?
No, it's an independent thing.
Where can one see it, watch it?
You can watch it. You can get the links off of my Telegram channel.
Right, okay. Who's making the documentary?
I'll put the links down below.
Okay.
I'll put all the links down below in the description. Now, for those of you who are watching on Facebook, the descriptions tend to go on the YouTube version. So sometimes, if I remember, I come and put them in the comments on Facebook, but really they're in the description on the YouTube version of this. And please do like and share it, folks, and please do subscribe to the channel, because we definitely and tell your friends about it, because we do this show every Monday. Well, Paul and I won't be doing it together every Monday from now on, but I hope you'll still be coming regularly, because I like having you on the show. You're good. you picked me up on my mistakes.
Cheers, mate. I'm knackered today. I've got to be honest. My legs have had it. All the cycling I'm doing at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm knackered too, to be honest, because I've been up we've got a community garden in Stafford that I've just started with some friends.
How's it going?
Well, today was my first day back after my trip away. I was house sitting down in Glastonbury, as most of you know, for 2.5 beautiful weeks in the most wonderful house, in the most wonderful setting, the most wonderful time. So it's a bit of a shock coming back and getting back to the community garden and noticing that in my absence, everybody's forgotten everything that I suggested they do and gone away and done everything differently. I set out a plan when we first started, and everyone said, "Hey, what a great plan, Jack! Brilliant plan, Jack! You know, slap on the back, brilliant plan, mate." And without saying anything to me, went off and did something completely different. I'd much rather people were just honest up front and said, "Hey, that's a crap plan, Jack. We don't want that." Instead of pretending to go along with it and then go and do their own thing. But anyway, as I say, I'm not in charge. I don't want to be in charge. But and that's why I don't want to be in charge. I mean, I had a wonderful time house sitting, herding cats. 3 cats, 2 of which hate each other and have to be kept apart. And I really didn't want to come back to the community gardens and need to start herding cats again.
I did say you need to change the locks, Jack, before you go. Then you'll be all right.
No, but credit where credit's due. They have done an awful lot of work. They've done one heck of a lot of work since I've been gone.
You had some problems with brambles, didn't you?
We still have problems with brambles. I think we probably always will have problems with brambles. I've started. Well, what we've done, this wasn't what I wanted to do, but it's what they've gone ahead and done. They've divided the land into plots, and everybody has their own plot.
Right.
But there aren't enough plots to go around.
That's not really in the spirit of what you were talking about, was it?
Not really, no. But I have claimed nobody actually did a plot for me. Nobody actually said that's Jack's plot. We'll leave that there for Jack. But when I got back today, I claimed one and put my name on it. Painted my name on a board and said Jack's plot. It's my bit now. And I've dug the first bed today. So yeah. I don't want to bitch about it. I really don't. As I say, I don't want to be in charge. I'm not in charge. But I did lay out a very, very detailed plan, and everybody said that they were going to follow it. And that's what's upset me, really, the fact that they've said one thing and done another. But anyway, let's move on swiftly from that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a bit knackered too, because I've been digging that and pulling out these great big bramble roots. So yeah, we certainly can't go permaculture, no dig for the first year. That's out the question, because we've had to dig it over to get all these bramble roots out. Possibly in the second year. Also, we don't have any well-rotted compost or manure.
Yeah.
We've had a whole load of manure delivered, but it's going to need to sit for a year before we can use it.
Right.
Unless we dig it in really deep.
Yeah, no, just leave it, yeah.
So we can't do a no dig at the moment. How's your allotment going?
Not bad. Nicola's been off this week, so we've been down there a couple of times together for a change, but she's not well at the moment. She's got the norovirus, I think it's called, or something like that.
She's got what?
It's like the norovirus, is it?
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah. I mean, she's had it for 3 days now, but she's already getting better, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's laid up at the moment. It's
I
going
had
all
that a
right,
few
but
years back. Yeah.
I've got
Nice.
lots of things in pots at the moment that need to go in the ground. But as I'm not driving at the minute, I'm on my bike. It's not easy. It's difficult to get stuff down there because it's just over 2 miles from where we live. So I can't, be on my bike and try and balance all my stuff on my head or something. It's impossible. So
Yeah.
Novo, thank you, Pauline. It's a Novo virus. I always say that wrong. But it's okay. We had some rain last week. I got very excited about. It rained quite heavily, so everything had a good drink. I've got all my potatoes, my onions in, my peas. I'm going to build some teepees for the beans and stuff to run up this week, and I've got some cucamelons on the go, which I really like.
Yeah.
Have you had cucamelons before?
No, tell us all about what do you want
They're like cucumber. They're like round cucumbers, but they're like
to?
bite size. They're bite size, and they like climbing.
Yeah.
So I've got those on the go. I'm looking forward to those. I've got kiwis as well this year. I'm going to try.
Do they grow in this country?
Oh, bless Pauline. Sorry.
Do they?
What? Sorry, cucamelons.
No, kiwis.
Well, I've been told that they do. Yes, I've been told certain varieties do, and the variety that we've got is they're quite small. But I've been told that they grow okay, so I'll give them a go. I'll give you a progress report in a couple of months on that.
Yeah,
Pauline's
please
just
do,
offered me a lift down to the allotment. Happy days. So I might take you up on that, Pauline, if I've got loads of stuff to carry. Yeah, so I haven't got any wheels at the moment. My car was written off by the E10 fuel, and I was told that by the mechanic who had a forecourt full of cars with the same problem with this E10 fuel. So at the moment, because I'm working from home primarily, apart from when I go to the shop, I don't really need a car at the minute. But having said that, a lift down to the allotment once a week would be lovely, Pauline. If you're offering, thank you. Cheers.
Okay.
You'll get some free produce from me once it's grown in the summer.
That's what I like about the community spirit.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
Yeah, we all help each other.
Yeah.
Someone hasn't got a car, somebody else hasn't got a lawnmower. The one with the car can give his lift, the one with the lawnmower can go and do the other one's lawn.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, it's all the community spirit is getting on together. And people used to be like that in the old days.
I know, mate. I know that. Yeah, I remember my grandparents talking like that, when I was a kid and thinking it sounded like a different world. People always left their doors open without any worries or fear at all. People could just walk in, hello, how are you? And it's just like a different world compared to, I can't imagine people leaving their doors open now in a city or a busy town or whatever. Pauline says, don't worry, you could have had electric. It could have blown up. That she means the car. Yeah. Thanks, Pauline. I really appreciate that. Cheers.
And they've had a lot of problems with the batteries, haven't they?
Yeah. It's just crazy stuff.
It is crazy stuff because most of the electricity comes from big, filthy
wind
factories.
turbines, is it? The wind turbines.
Most of it doesn't come from big turbines. Most of it comes from the filthy factories, the filthy power stations.
Yeah, it's all just a big one as usual.
Oil powered and gas powered power stations. So it's a con. It's a con. And there's a meme that's been doing the round on social media quite a bit. I don't know whether you've seen it.
Probably. I probably posted it.
Yeah, I think you probably did. This nerdy guy charging his electric bike and this bloody power station in the background churning out all this shit.
Yeah.
And you can see the cable.
Yeah.
It's a con.
Yeah. Well, I think there's been an agenda to get as many people off the road as possible. And I think that's part of it. And I think the E10 fuel is a big part of it. And what most people don't realise is that E10 fuel is chucking out glyphosate everywhere.
Yes.
Glyphosate is in the E10 fuel. So that's something else that sort of weighed on my mind when I was thinking about, should I get a new car when both of us are working from home, it just wasn't worth it in the end, you know. So I might do in the future, but it won't be a driverless one or an electric one. No, load of rubbish.
No, I miss having my car. I used to like having my car. I haven't got one now. And I haven't got a telly either.
I don't miss that at all.
You and I both got rid of our tellies. Well, you
In
got
fact,
rid of yours.
if somebody stuck behind me where that painting is, used to be a big TV on the wall, and it was there until 2012.
Yeah.
And if somebody came in and stuck a TV on that wall now, and I sat in front of it for more than 5 minutes, I would be thoroughly depressed just looking at it and watching that rubbish. Mind you, what propaganda.
This place where I've been house sitting, they had a big telly, and they're friends of mine, and so
Of course.
And the guy John, he said, "I'll show you how the TV works before we go." I said, "No, don't bother." And I didn't. He said, he said, "You mean we've got to go 2 weeks for watching the telly?" I said, "I've gone the last 15 years with it watching the telly."
Brilliant, yeah. And the funny thing is, Jack,
telly.
No, if I go to my mum's and I think, oh look, they're in the other room. There's a telly. Shall I turn it on and have a look? There's about 3 different remote controls. It's like there's some sort of scientific procedure that goes on in how to turn the TV on, and it's bizarre now. It just used to be like one remote control. Now there's 3 or 4 on the go. It's way beyond me. I don't know what's going on with it. We've had a comment from Michael Lee. He says, hello, Michael. He says, of course, hemp cars and Stan Mayer's water car are hidden from the public. Great comment, mate. Yeah. So the very first Henry T. Ford car was made out of hemp and was far more durable than they are to this day. Not many people realise that or know that. And I saw something recently. I think it was a guy in Australia that had developed a car that runs purely on water.
Yeah,
and he's probably in hiding now because they don't like that idea.
There were several of them on the roads, but of course, the big companies won't adopt it. They don't want to adopt it.
Well, that's a great hypocrisy about all this. There's been loads of different free energy devices and cars and all sorts of things that have been and gone, and nothing happens. You know, we're just told to give the government all their money to help them fight climate change.
Yeah.
Clown world.
You've got another comment here.
Pauline just says, wow.
Oh, wow, Pauline, yeah.
Probably Michael's brilliant comment.
I mean, this is what we started the show talking about, the joyous revolution. And it comes by doing these things for ourselves and doing these things for each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a comment from Catherine here. Catherine says, we are stepping into the energy of giving. I know people say money is an energy. I feel, though, it's an energy that's been corrupted in that the countries and rule makers tend to be banks or people with lots of money. And let's face it, they are just people. But we give them power because they have a lot of zeros in a bank account. And what is that? Just a lot of nothings.
Absolutely, Catherine, absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, I've always said, I say in the book, that we need to move to a society where people are judged. I don't like the word judged, but people are evaluated by how much they put into society rather than how much they take out for themselves. Big house, fast car, yacht.
Yeah.
We've got to stop looking up to the people that take and start looking up to the people that give.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm not saying that the people who take don't also give. I'm not saying that. They obviously contribute something or they wouldn't be able to do the things that they do. But we need to just shift our focus and look at what they do rather than what they've taken.
Pauline has just said, so much can be made from hemp, which is true. Lots of stuff can be made. Do you know much about hemp, Jack?
I don't know a lot about it. I mean, I know that you can make a hemp plastic.
Yeah.
I know that it biodegrades very quickly.
Yep. Yeah.
I know that you can make hemp cars and lots of hemp machines.
Yeah.
And I know that you can also use the hemp to create the fuel, to make the fuel.
Yeah.
But I don't have any technical knowledge on the
No,
subject.
but I mean, that's what I was thinking about. I mean, so much can be used, as Pauline says, and made from hemp. Why do they make it so difficult? Why isn't anything being made out of hemp anymore?
Well, hemp's always been a big thing, and it used to be a big thing, and they've suppressed. The system has suppressed it by saying we can't let them have hemp because they'll smoke it. Well, hemp isn't cannabis.
No.
It's a different plant. Part of the same family, part of the same genus.
Yeah.
It's a different plant.
Exactly.
And then if we can smoke it, what the hell? Why's that such a big deal?
Exactly. Why does the government make laws to prevent you from experimenting with your own consciousness? What's all that about? That's very odd, if you ask me. Just why? And all the money that they spend on the war on drugs, like we're talking trillions of dollars or pounds, aren't we?
On drugs, when CIA and other similar organizations in other countries finance black projects through selling drugs.
Yeah.
I think most people know that now.
Yeah. I think it was the HSBC bank that got in a lot of trouble a few years ago, didn't they? For dealing in like Class A drugs.
Oh, tell me about that one. I don't know about that one.
I don't remember a lot about it, mate. I think it was connected to Mexico, where there's a lot of drug crime, and the HSBC were caught laundering a lot of drugs and stuff like that. I'm sure that's true. They were caught up in this. All sorts go. The CIA get caught out a lot of the time with this kind of thing as well, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's all a ruse, mate. It's all a ruse. Pauline says, "Giving makes me feel warm, but I've been accused of buying people."
That's so third dimension consciousness, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
We all move out to fifth dimensional consciousness, what people are calling fifth dimensional consciousness. I'm not going to get into the arguments about it. Or Christ consciousness, or New Age consciousness, or whatever you call it. Then hopefully we can move away from that silly way of thinking. That self-destructive way of thinking. I mean, I get accused. Well, I don't get accused to my face, but I get feeling, because I do an awful lot for people, and I think an awful lot of people think, what's he after? And I'm not after anything. I've always said, and I'm going to say it publicly now for anyone who's watching, I don't want anything from anybody ever apart from what they give me willingly and eagerly. I've got everything I need. I'm not rich, but I've got everything I need. I'm completely self-sufficient.
One of the great things about waking up is you suddenly realise you don't need a lot of stuff. You really don't. I've got a couple of guitars, a wife, a cat, a flat, an allotment, and that's pretty much it. And I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. And I've been an estate agent. I've earned a lot more money in my past, and I was very unhappy at that time. I was under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. Hated most of the people I work with. And compared to now, I'm so much happier. It's a joke. So money is not it's far from being everything.
No, it's rewarding when you do something that's that's important, and the supplements that you produce are important.
They are at this moment in time. Yeah, they are at this moment in time. I mean, I really wish more than anything else that we could get everything that we needed from food. But that's not possible anymore. It just isn't. So that's why supplements do have to be part of your plan now to get through this, especially if there's going to be food shortages coming up, Jack, because you want to meet that situation in a state of good health, you know.
We do, and we need to be able to provide our own food.
Mm.
Now, apparently, there's some crazy law going through in Australia at the moment, because
Yes.
we all know Australia is a lot further along the road to
Well,
a totalitarian nightmare.
to be fair to me and you, Jack, we said a good year ago that Australia was the testing ground. Watch Australia, and we've been proved to be right on that.
Absolutely,
that's the testing ground.
They're second only to China in the totalitarian nightmare sweepstakes. But apparently they're bringing in the bill passing through their parliament that restrict people from growing their own food.
Yes, I read about that this week, mate. Yep, you're bang on. It's right. Incredible. I mean, how can you stop people from growing food?
There can only be one agenda, can't there? There can be one reason for that.
Control.
Yeah. You control the food. You control the food. You control the people. They brought it out under the guise of agricultural standards.
How ironic is that? Because the food you produce yourself, if you're producing it organically and with love, compared to their shit, it's been sprayed and just ridiculous, isn't it? Insanity.
So, because they can see this revolution, this joyous revolution, and growing our own food is definitely part of the joyous revolution.
Yep.
Growing the surplus to give away, to share, and they don't. They can see it coming, and they're fighting. They're fighting it. They can never win. They can never win. They can never keep us all down. We are legion, and they are few.
Yeah.
They can never keep us down.
I've got the guns, but we've got the numbers. Michael Lee's just commented, Jack, if you can put that on the screen, I'll read it out. Michael has said, don't forget the 1939 Cancer Act, which will not allow anyone to claim they have a cure for cancer. And then I remember the GC math scandal. Did you hear about the GC math scandal, Jack?
No, tell me.
Well, this actually made the mainstream newspapers. They did a really bad hit piece on the creator of this treatment. I've got to be careful how I choose my words here. I'll try and be careful. So there was a guy called David Noakes, and he set up a laboratory on the island of Guernsey, and he was treating people. And when I say cancer, I'm spelling it with a K. All right. Cancer with a K. They were treating people in this laboratory he had, health centre, with they had stage 4 cancer, and he had something like an 80 to 90% success rate. Stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, that's
GC math, which is a hormone that stops working in the body when you develop cancer with a K, cancerous cells. So
I think I have heard of this now. It's a long time ago, but you dropped it.
It wasn't, but this is going back about 6 or 7 years ago. So the next thing he knew, his laboratory and department on Guernsey were visited by a SWAT team, and all the workers in there were put on the floor, hands down, and all the rest of it. These people had machine guns, by the way. David Noakes since then has been in and out of prison in France, along with his partner, who I'm sorry, it's a lady partner, I've forgotten her name now. But he's only just come out of prison, and they were put into a prison in, I think it was in Paris, that's regarded as the most violent, horrible prison that you could go to in Europe. One of the worst prisons, evidently. They weren't given a fair trial. The mainstream media made them out to be evil because they were depriving people of being treated with radiation and chemicals. And like I say, he has, you could, thank you, Michael Lee, Lynn Thayer, that's right, well done. I've just remembered you given me her name. I think she's now out of prison, and she set up some sort of healing centre in this country. I don't think it's connected to what they were doing before, because they probably want to stay out of prison now. But it just goes to show you you can look into that story and look at all the testimonials of people that survived serious, life-threatening, literally weeks to live, if that, and they were cured. There are, I mean, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, intravenous vitamin C will cure many types of what we're talking about. There are so many other treatments as well that are massively suppressed because of the amount of money that the pharmaceutical companies make out of chemo and radiotherapies.
Now, I just need to say,
So
for the record,
yeah.
that we don't give medical advice on this
No.
channel.
No,
we're not qualified to do so. We're just stating opinions. We're not giving any medical advice. So nobody could accuse us of giving misleading medical advice.
No.
We don't give medical advice.
I don't give advice to people on medical matters, but everything that I just said was true. And you can look into, anyone that's watching this can look into it, and you'll discover the same. Unless you go to the Sun newspaper or the Mirror newspaper, and you'll just read that they're horrible, evil people. But they were doing a huge amount of good for people that thought they weren't going to live very long, and they were visited by a SWAT team and put in prison.
Apparently, cancer can be
with a K.
With a K. Yeah. Apparently, one of the best things you can do to help, I'm not saying cure, I'm saying help, is to give up sugar.
Yep, that's a big one. Yeah, big, massive one, sugar. They used to call it the White Death.
We've got another comment here.
Yeah, we got a brilliant. Yeah, Michael Lee has said you're only just reporting the news. That is it. What I was doing really was just the news. We've got, I mean, it's Jack's channel, and Jack's got to be so careful now, unfortunately, because we've already had one strike. But that was everything I said was factual. Pauline Turner says that's why the rich don't get cancer with a K. Yeah, absolutely. It's very rare. It does happen on occasion, but as I remember a long time ago now, listening to a man called Alan Watt, who had a website called Cutting Through the Matrix, and he said, and he knew people high up in society, that they are treated for all sorts of things with intravenous vitamin C, because vitamin C will cure with a cure. I'm spelling cure with a K as well. Vitamin C will cure any virus. Name that virus, it will cure it in high enough doses.
Yeah, so, let's just say it helps. Let's just say it helps with, because we won't get into trouble then. Or maybe we won't get into trouble. I mean, who knows? I've had videos taken down here for quoting official figures off the government website.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean,
yeah, I got banned once on Facebook for posting something off the government website as well about the lurgy. Just leave it there.
So on this subject of censorship, I just want to, most of you who watch this channel regularly know, and the people who watch my Friday show regularly know, Catherine, who's on here now and has been commenting, runs an alternative, or is in the process of setting up an alternative platform, a censor-free platform. So if you want to say a bit about that, Catherine, if not, I'll put a link in the description to the discussion that we had on our Friday show a couple of weeks ago, which was absolutely brilliant, by the way. I really want to give you all the help I can to get that started, to get that going.
Can I just ask, Jack? Catherine's not friends with Elon Musk, is she?
I don't know. You better ask Catherine.
Yeah, I hope not.
What do you think about that? Do you think he's really?
Well, that's funny, because today I posted my latest video with Ralph Ellis at the weekend, and in that video, which was not on the subject of Elon Musk, but he just brought up for whatever reason, he brought up Elon Musk buying Twitter, and he was suggesting it's a good thing. And that didn't go down very well in the comments underneath the video with one or two people who have probably like an inbuilt distrust of billionaire philanthropists. And you've only got to look at, the likes of Rockefellers and Bill Gates and all these people and all the things they do in the name of philanthropy, which if you ask your average Indian, I would suggest that they're not very keen on Bill Gates out there for various obvious reasons. So my thoughts are that I cannot possibly know 100% whether he's doing it for good reasons or bad reasons. But I have my doubts personally. For example, I know that he was developing, how shall I put this, mRNA jibby jabbies for the lurgy. His company was developing those. He's also what was that Neuralink thing where you talking about putting various nanotechnology in the brain and stuff like that. So his track record is not looking too healthy, is it? We've got to be honest.
I don't trust the guy at all. And he's put how many hundreds of satellites has he put up?
A lot. I can't remember the exact figure. A lot, yeah.
It's a couple of hundred, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, at least that probably.
Maybe it was a couple of. I can't remember, but anyway, it's a ridiculous number of satellites. I don't trust the guy. I mean, power to his elbow if he wants to stop the censorship on Twitter, but he's got to do an awful lot more than that to win back the people he's lost.
Perhaps, Jack. Perhaps he's reinstalling the free speech into Twitter because he wants to collect data on everyone.
Could be.
Wouldn't that be a good way of doing it? Yes. Say what you like. Roll on up, and and I'll have all your data.
So thanks for the links, Catherine. If you want to join Catherine's social media platform, then follow these 3 links or 4
I'll
links.
I'll be doing that later. Thank you, Catherine. I like a bit of Telegram.
I'm going to try again because, as I said to Catherine before, I tried before and I couldn't get signed up for it. But I will try again. In fact, I'll try again after this show. Mm-hmm. So if we all do these things, we can build the title of the show, the title of the book. We can build a world based on love rather than on fear. Because the money-based system, the power over top-down system, is based on fear. It's all based on fear. Money is only there to make you afraid of not having enough money. Wouldn't it be lovely if we all could wake up in the morning and just know that we were going to have enough that day? And if we didn't have enough, if our crops failed or whatever, then our friends would come rally round and help. I mean, we live in a society now where you can lose your job and your friends won't help. And you don't want your friends to help because that would be a shameful thing. Because that's the government's job anyway. Come on, people. We need to change our way of thinking.
The other issue we've got, this is a very controversial point, but it's not like me and Jack haven't talked about this before, is in modern day society now, definitely in England, you have pockets of people, pockets of different cultures, not really integrating, but they're segregated. And obviously that makes everything that we're talking about slightly harder because, as I say, there are so many different segregated pockets of society now, particularly in working class areas.
Yes, there are. Yeah. And we're talking mostly immigrants, aren't we?
We are, many of which are very nice. And
many of which are beautiful, beautiful people.
Yes.
But some come here and refuse to integrate.
Yep.
They want to set up a society within a society, or even a state within a state.
Yep.
And it's all this divide and conquer.
Yeah, which makes us a lot more controllable. You know, that's why it's been done. Basically, that's why it's been done.
We're not being nasty. We're not anti-immigrant.
No, not at all.
We love immigrants
Yep.
if they integrate and toe the line. But we just want them to integrate. We want to build a society where everyone is welcome.
And get rid of. Would you agree, Jack? Sorry, mate. Would you agree that passports are a silly idea? Are they necessary? Because they're quite a recent invention.
Let's look at this. No, I don't think passports are necessary. No. No. But I said this before, and I'm going to say it again because we're probably running over time. But I'm going to say this quickly before we end. I want a world without governments, a world without individual countries. I want a world where there's completely open borders, where everybody can move freely. But, and this is the big but that I've always insisted upon, until we get rid of the countries, until we get rid of the governments, we can't get rid of the countries. Because if we do, we're going to end up with a totalitarian one world government. And that'd be even worser. Worser. But wouldn't it? That would be even worse.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree there, mate. We've had a comment.
At least in theory, I know it doesn't work because of the deep state. But in theory, a national government, national borders enable the government of that countries to pass laws that suit the culture and the traditions of the people who live in that country. It would be wonderful if there wasn't any government, then we wouldn't need the country. But at the moment, we still do. But I say we should still have open borders and people should be free to go and settle in any part of the world they want, where they like that better than their own, where they like those rules better than their own, provided that they fit in with the locals and don't try to change things.
Yeah, definitely agree, mate. Before we end, we've had a comment from our friend Michael Lee. So Michael has said, censorship is Big Brother flexing his authoritarian muscle over the unorganised masses.
Absolutely, Michael. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
But hopefully we can start getting a little bit organised in our local communities, coming together and doing all the things that Jack has written about. And that's a small but very important step in the right direction.
We've got one more comment here.
One world is the aim of the WEF.
Yes, it is. One world under their control. I mean, I'm all for one world, provided nobody controls it. If there are no lead, if nobody follows, if nobody follows, there are no leaders. Nobody can lead if nobody follows. Have you noticed all the tyrants throughout history? Alfred the Great, Charlemagne, I can't remember all the names off the top of my head, Hitler, Napoleon, they all wanted to unite the world, or at least their own small part of it.
Yep.
But they all wanted to unite it under their rule. That was the dark agenda. They all wanted to unite it under their rule. They didn't want to set it free.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you've just said there has triggered lots of things going on in my mind now about things I could talk about to do with Stalin and Hitler and all these people. But we're over the hour now, so probably save it for another time, Jack, eh?
Maybe next one, maybe in a fortnight's time. If you're back on in 2 weeks.
Definitely, yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks, mate. Back in 2 weeks for certain.
That'd be fantastic. Okay, well, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
Please do like and share and subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
And tell your friends about my Friday show as well.
Yeah. And about
Um,
Jack's book, Love Not Fear.
yeah. And I'm also going to put a link below, and I have on all the other videos that we've done together, Paul, to Paul's channel, where he has some wonderful interviews that he does with very interesting people on a whole wide range of different subjects. Basically, it's a health channel, but he talks about history, ancient history, all kinds of things. So do give Paul a look as well.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Right, thanks all for coming.
Thank you.
Namaste.
In Lakesh.